Hi, this is Travis Wayne Goodsell. I've been doing the video or conference reviews all day, and I've been getting a lot of comments, and as a result, it's necessary for me to do another video introduction for the rest of these videos uh, that I'm working on. And again, explain to you Mormons. I was born and raised Mormon. Almost 50 years of my life dedicated to the church. I've been in positions of influence. Much of what you would believe if you actually did research or study the scriptures, you'd find my influence. I haven't been able to change everything because there's a lot of things that they refuse to change. Sort of like Sodom being destroyed for neglecting the poor when they want it to be homosexuality. And so when I tell you guys that I'm no longer affiliated with the church, I'm still a member on record. They're not telling the stats anymore, but that doesn't mean that I'm evil and apostate. For you guys to believe that of me is unsound. Do you understand what unsound means versus sound? You need to defend your church, and you don't do it by abusing me, attacking me, trolling me, and making all sorts of false accusations and comments about my character or my appearance even. That doesn't make you guys the good guys. And that's all the more reason why nobody wants to be in your church. Why I don't want to come back. It ain't gonna happen. I studied church history finally. That's how I realized, no, I want nothing to do with the church. So, Mormons, and I know you're Mormon, even though you don't have an actual picture of yourself, although the one Mormon girl used a Superman character of some kind. I didn't recognize the blonde, but I mean, come on, guys. Seriously? You're accusing me of trying to save you guys. Seriously. So, I don't want this intro to go too long, but being abusive when somebody is pointing out the horrible evils and errors of the church, that's the wrong argument to take. I know where I stand on the issue. That's why I'm able to say what I'm able to say. I have been in the church, in positions of high influence. And I can't go into detail because this is going too long as it is. And there's a reason why I have the David versus Goliath little video gif at the beginning. So, please, I have noticed that the Russians have backed off this conference weekend. They went full force right before conference, but now they've backed off, and Mormons are coming to my videos for the first time. You have not seen my other videos. You do not know what's going on. So, think before you speak and embarrass and humiliate yourself and get banned from my channel. Gummy bears.
We are grateful for all who have spoken to us this afternoon.
If this is Oaks, we're in for a big one.
Beautiful music.
Whoops.
That has been provided. We remind the brethren of the General Priesthood meeting, which will commence in the Conference Center this evening at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time.
I don't know why they do that, because on the East Coast it's 8.
And the spoken word
So they don't get out until 10.
Tomorrow morning.
And then missionaries are supposed to be home at 9 or 9:30.
Mountain Daylight Time. The Sunday morning session of conference will immediately follow. Our concluding speaker for this session will be Elder Jeffrey R. Holland. Of the Quorum of the 12
Yeah, they're switching things up. They're not following the traditional pattern.
The choir will close the meeting by singing, Jesus, Lover of My Soul.
So Holland, he's been making the news. He was doing the CES changes.
First counselor in the primary general presidency.
He's also the one that lied at Harvard.
I was doing just fine until I saw those tears in the eyes of those young people in this choir.
They were crying?
Those
I didn't see them crying.
A more eloquent sermon than I could ever give.
Of course, I was focused on the redhead.
Looking up from water's edge, past the eager crowds seeking baptism at his hand, John, called the Baptist, saw in the distance his cousin, Jesus of Nazareth, striding resolutely toward him to make a request for that ordinance at his hand. Reverently, but audible enough for those nearby to hear, John uttered the admiration that still moves us 2 millennia later.
I am not unworthy to unloose thy ankh.
The Lamb of God. It's instructive that this long prophesied forerunner to Jesus did not call him Jehovah or Savior or Redeemer or even the Son of God.
That was the author, it wasn't John.
Applicable titles. No, John chose the earliest and perhaps most commonly recognized image in the religious tradition of his people.
No.
He used the figure of a sacrificial lamb offered in atonement.
Now Mormons are going to quote him as if that's fact.
Of a fallen world and all the fallen people in it. Please indulge me in recalling just a little of that history. After expulsion from the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve faced a devastating
I'm getting a whole lot of comments today.
Having opened the door to mortality and temporal life for us, they had closed the door to immortality and eternal lives for themselves. Due to a transgression they had consciously chosen to make in our behalf, they now faced physical death and spiritual banishment, separation from the presence of God forever. What were they to do? Would there be a way out of this plight? We're not certain just how much these two were allowed to remember of the instruction they received while still in the garden, but they did remember they were to regularly offer for a sacrifice unto God a pure,
Adam fell,
unblemished lamb,
not Eve.
the first male born of their flock.
And his name was Geb, not
Later,
Adam.
An angel came to explain that this sacrifice was a type, it was a prefiguration of the offering that would be made in their behalf by the Savior of the world who was to come. This thing is a similitude of the sacrifice of the only begotten of the Father.
Was it before or after Abel was slain?
Wherefore, thou shalt repent and call upon God in the name of the Son forevermore. Fortunately, there was going to be a way out and a way up. In the premortal councils of heaven, God had promised Adam and Eve and all the rest
in the
of
beginning,
us
good always
that help
overpowered
would
the
come
evils
from
of all
his
man's
pure,
sins.
unblemished, firstborn Son, the Lamb of God, slain from the
It's actually the
foundation
ram.
of the world, as the Apostle John would later describe it. By offering their own little symbolic lambs in mortality, Adam and his posterity
Because sheep
were
are
expressing
dumb.
their understanding and their dependence upon the atoning sacrifice of Jesus, the Anointed One. Later, the wilderness tabernacle would become the setting for this ordinance, and after that, the temple that Solomon would build. Unfortunately, as a symbol of genuine repentance and faithful living, this
He thinks he knows ancient
offering
history,
of
and
unblemished
yet he has no
lambs
clue.
didn't work very well. As
Claiming
so
to be a
much of the Old
prophet,
Testament
and yet he
reveals,
can't get that simple information
the moral
correct.
resolve that should have accompanied those sacrifices sometimes didn't last long enough for the blood to dry upon the stones. In any case, it didn't last long enough to preclude fratricide, with Cain killing his brother Abel in the first generation.
That was set in Osiris.
With such trials and troubles going on for centuries, no wonder the angels of heaven sang for joy when finally Jesus was born.
Now, if he just
The
read my
long-promised
brass plates
Messiah
translation,
himself.
he would
Following
have
his
all the
brief
errors
ministry,
corrected from his
This
thinking.
purest of all Passover sheep prepared his disciples for his death
Travis Wayne Goodsoul.
by introducing the sacrament of the Lord's Supper, a more personal form
He's now calling sheep the
of the
purer
ordinance
of the
that had been
species.
introduced just outside of Eden.
The bull was
There
the
would
more
still be an
pure.
offering. It would still involve a sacrifice, but it would be with symbolism much deeper,
Yeah.
much more introspective and personal
Yeah.
than the bloodletting of a firstborn lamb.
Yeah.
To the Nephites, after his resurrection, the Savior said of this,
No third eye.
"You shall offer unto me no more the shedding of blood. You shall offer unto me a broken heart and a contrite spirit. And whoso cometh unto me with a broken heart and a contrite spirit,
So he gets this information
him
from
will I
BYU
baptize
people.
with fire
They don't know
and
the
the Holy
truth,
Ghost. Therefore,
but that's where he gets it
repent
from.
and be saved."
And so, yeah, that's why he's making so many errors.
My beloved brothers and sisters, with the exciting new emphasis on increased gospel learning in the home, it is crucial for us to remember that we are still commanded to go to the house of prayer and offer up thy sacraments upon my holy day.
Sacrament! Bingo!
In addition to making time for more home-centered gospel instruction,
See,
our
it all ties together.
modified Sunday service
You can't have the sacrament
is
unless you're a member,
also to
and you
reduce
can't
the
be a member unless you're paying
complexity of the
tithing.
meeting schedule
Can't go to the
in a
temple
way
unless you're paying
that
tithing.
properly emphasizes the sacrament of the Lord's Supper as the sacred acknowledged.
And yet we break the bread in remembrance of his broken body, but his body is not broken in the New Testament
We
gospel
are to
text.
remember in as
Whose body was
personal
broken?
way as
Oh
possible
yeah, Osiris,
that Christ
that Egyptian
died
god.
from a heart broken by shouldering entirely alone the sins and sorrows of the human family. Inasmuch as we contributed to that fatal burden, such a moment demands our respect. Thus, we're encouraged to come to our services early and reverently, dressed appropriately for participation.
He's doing a
in the
whole
sacred
guilt
ordinance,
trip to get the
the
sacrament.
Sacred ordinance. Sunday best has lost a little of its meaning in our time.
Sacrament
And out of esteem for him
or
into
die.
whose presence we come, we ought to restore that tradition of dress and grooming when and where we can. As for punctuality, a late pass will always be lovingly granted to those
Not with some of the bishops I've
mothers
had.
with children and Cheerios
They block
and
the
diaper
doors.
bags trailing in marvelous disarray, are lucky to have made it to church at all.
And they're going to continue to come
Furthermore,
late.
There will be others who unavoidably find their ox in the mire on a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
However, to this
that's my
latter
excuse,
group
and I'm
we
sticking
say,
to it.
An occasional tardiness is understandable. But if the ox
But the
is
ox,
in the mire
exactly.
every Sunday,
I can't help it.
then we strongly recommend that you sell the ox or fill the mire. In that same spirit, we make
You need an ox to live.
plea for the reduction of clamor in the sanctuary of our buildings. We love to visit with each other. We are great visitors. And we should be. It's one of the joys of church attendance. But it ought not to be pursued so vocally in space specifically dedicated for worship. I fear visitors not of our faith are shocked by what
Naked volleyball
be
and
noisy irreverence in a setting that is supposed to be characterized by prayer, revelation, hymns, and peace. Perhaps heaven is a little shocked as well. It will add to the spirit of our sacrament meetings if the presiding officers are on the stand well before it's to begin, listening to the prelude music and reverently setting the example.
He's already assuming what others are thinking. Angels are sad too. Jesus Christ cheers when you are disobedient.
Any chatter in the congregation. We congratulate those bishoprics who are eliminating announcements that
just wait till your dad gets home. He'll beat you.
I, for one, cannot imagine a priest such as Zacharias there in the ancient temple of the Lord, about to participate in the one and only priestly privilege that would come to him in his entire lifetime.
Pay attention, kids. This is talking to you.
I cannot picture him pausing before the altar to remind us that the Pinewood Derby is just 6 weeks away and registration will soon be due.
You haven't been to church lately, have you?
Brothers and sisters, this hour ordained of the Lord is the most sacred hour of our week. By commandment, we gather for the most universally received ordinance in the church. It is in memory of him who asked
Osiris,
if the cup he was about to drink could pass, only to soldier on because
Jesus didn't have his body broken into a billion different pieces.
it could not pass.
Well, 14 technically, depending on which text you're referring to.
If we remember
But,
that a symbol of that
yeah.
cup is
It's in memory of
slowly
Osiris.
making its way down the road
The brothers.
toward us.
So it kind of makes me wonder,
At the hand
was Abel
of the 11
Osiris?
or 12
Was his body hacked up by his brother? Because Abel was the
When the sacred
herder
hour
of
comes
sheep, and
to
Cain
present
was
our
the farmer.
sacrificial gift
Osiris
to the
was
Lord.
actually the farmer.
We do have our own
So as a
sins
farmer,
and
he would have had to have
shortcomings
had a plow. And with a plow, he would have had a sickle. And
But we might
so,
be more
Grim
successful
Reaper.
in such contrition
oh, well, that's where it
if
came
we're
from.
mindful of the other broken hearts and sorrowing spirits that surround us, seated not far away in any direction, are some who may have wept outwardly or inwardly through the entire sacramental hymn and the prayers of those priests. Might we silently take note of that and offer our little crust of comfort
Crust.
and our tiny cup of compassion? Might we dedicate it?
I was taught as a deacon or a priest,
Or for the weeping, struggling member
always
who's
cut
not in the service,
so that there is not just
and
crust.
except for some redemptive ministry on our part, won't
Always
be there
have some
next
bread
week
with the crust.
Or for our
'Cause
brothers and sisters
It's horrifying
who are
when
not
you're
members
getting the
of
sacrament and all you have left is a thing of
but
crust.
are our brothers and sisters. There's no shortage of suffering in this world, inside the church and out. So look in any direction and you'll find someone whose pain is seeming too heavy to bear, whose heartache seems never apparently to end. One way to always remember him would be to join the great physician in his never-ending task of lifting
Open the
load
storehouses if
from
you want to
those
be a
who are hurting
physician.
and relieving the pain of those who are distraught.
Give us food.
Beloved friends,
Pay our bills.
as we unite across the globe each week in what is an increasingly sacred acknowledgement
Okay,
of
this is it,
Christ's
isn't it?
majestic
Wow,
atoning
I've got
gift to
3
all humankind,
halfway saved.
may we
So
bring to the sacramental altar
we'll hopefully get caught up before the
more
priesthood
tears
session.
for his sorrow and more pain at his grief. Then, as we reflect and pray and
So is
covenant
Abel
anew,
Jesus?
may we take from that sacred moment more patience in suffering, more praise for relief. For such patience and relief, for such holiness and hope, I pray for all of you in the name of Him who broke the precious bread of forgiveness and poured the holy wine of redemption.
Of drunkenness.
Even Jesus Christ, the great and merciful and holy Lamb of God. Amen.
All right, that's it.